Hello, everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records. It's time for our weekly check into some of the new releases headed to an independent record store near you. As always, just the tip of the iceberg, so it seems. We are heading into the snow season here in Michigan. Of the releases, we're just going to cover a few of them, the highlights, if you will, in this video. But if you'd like to see that full list, all you need to do is head over to our website at radiowasteland.com. From there, click on the upcoming releases link, and you'll see a PDF that has everything there is to see for this upcoming week. For now, though, let's dive into just a brief, just a few things on the new release front, and then a lot of reissues coming up for Friday, the 14th of November, 2025. And on that new release front, we've got something brand new from Cheap Trick. This is called All Washed Up. Our description simply says it's the new record from the indisputable, indispensable American rock and roll band Cheap Trick as they celebrate their 50th anniversary as a band. So single LP, the standard version of this is coming on kind of a marble gray and black colored vinyl, and the list price for that looks to be about $28. Then there is an indie exclusive of All Washed Up by Cheap Trick. This one coming on in orange and blue. Let's see what they call this. Orange blue marbled vinyl. And this again is the indie exclusive, as I mentioned, and that version is coming in at $30 for a suggested list price, so just a couple bucks more. Here's a brand new compilation up next on the new releases from Christopher Cross, and it's called All Right, the Worldwide Singles 1980 through 1988. And our description says that this is the first ever collection of all of the acclaimed singer-songwriters' worldwide singles from that era. This double LP set is coming on translucent pink and green colored vinyl, one of each. And the set contains original singles versions of a lot of Christopher Cross's big hits. The second LP says it has some B-sides as well as some other stuff, I guess, on there. The description doesn't really quite get into it, but it's Christopher Cross. He's going to celebrate some yacht rock, if you will. All Right, the name of the album from Christopher Cross on colored vinyl, one translucent colored pink and the other one green, matching his earlier albums. And the list price on that comes in at around $40. One more compilation to tell you about in the new releases, this one from Harry Chapin, and it is part of that Now Playing series. That's that very, very low price point vinyl coming in with these newer compilations. Not much else to say. It's got a lot of Harry Chapin's great hits on there, and it's coming on clear vinyl, and the price just lists right at $20 like all of these Now Playing series do. So one more time, it is that Now Playing release from Harry Chapin, a new compilation, coming in at $20 for a suggested list price. I told you there weren't that many on the new releases, so now let's dive into those reissues scheduled for the 14th of November. And here we've got something from Everything But the Girl, and it's a compilation called The Best of Everything But the Girl. Now, I think this is a newer compilation on vinyl. It may have come out before on CD, but it looks like the track listing has been shuffled up a little bit. Our description says that this is a double LP pressing, and it is the definitive compilation from Everything But the Girl, the best-selling duo formed in 1982 by singer-writer-musicians Ben Watt and Tracy Thorn. This collection includes the 1995 global dance floor smash Missing. This is a remix version, by the way. The hit singles, I Don't Want to Talk About It, Walking Wounded, and Each and Every One, and Deep Evergreen cuts included as well from their pioneering career. Double LP, The Best of Everything But the Girl on black vinyl. This one coming in at $36 for a suggested list price. Two different versions-ish of Tears for Fears songs from the Big Chair also being reissued. First, we're getting a straight-up reissue of the album coming on clear vinyl, listing for about $30. And there is a limited deluxe edition coming on red-colored vinyl, but it's being turned into a double LP. The description on this other version says that for the first time ever, Songs from the Big Chair appears on transparent red vinyl and with its original alternate cover design. So this double LP edition also includes a selection of alternate versions and mixes, many of which are making their vinyl debut. So the alternate version of Songs for the Big Chair on double LP red vinyl coming in at $38 for a suggested list price. Here is a 40th anniversary edition of Psycho Candy from Jesus and Mary Chain. And our description's a fun one. It says 1985, as the last of the detached murmurs of post-punk slowly crest into the earliest whispers of shoegaze, standing there in a world all their own, cutting a profile both unique and incomparable, is Jesus and Mary Chain. Goes on to say that with equal influences gleaned from the Stooges and the Shangri-Las, as well as the Velvet Underground and the Beach Boys, the band released an unassailable godhead of an album called Psycho Candy. So to celebrate 40 years of this most important and watershed album, this is now being repressed on gold-colored vinyl. So we have Psycho Candy from Jesus and Mary Chain, the 40th anniversary edition, $26 is a suggested retail price for this. From Friday Music, we're getting a reissue of the Cars and their Greatest Hits album. The description says that this 12-track masterpiece is loaded with Cars hit singles, one right after another. Things like Just What I Needed, Drive, Let's Go, Good Times Roll, Shake It Up, My Best Friend's Girl, you can name them all on here. Black vinyl on this one, but it does have a gatefold jacket. The Cars Greatest Hits, $39 is the suggested list price here, but again, that one's coming from Friday Music. They tend to be a little bit more pricey. Next up, from the Gee, That Didn't Take Long department, we've got a trio of Black Sabbath reissues, expanded versions coming. This includes Black Sabbath's self-titled Paranoid and Master of Reality. As far as the self-titled goes, the description says that this is the album that started it all, and Black Sabbath is now getting a deluxe double LP treatment. We're getting the reissue of the pioneering heavy metal band's debut album, bolstered by an alternative and instrumental bonus tracks on the second LP. $60 is the suggested list price for that one, and really it's the same thing with Paranoid. A double LP expanded edition, you're getting that first album reissue, and then a second record of alternate takes and instrumental bonus tracks, $60 for the double LP reissue of Paranoid, and exactly the same thing with Master of Reality. 140-gram black vinyl on all three of these, by the way. This is Black Sabbath's iconic third album, Dark and Heavy Landmark, and it is now getting expanded as well, with the first LP being the album and the second being bonus tracks, instrumentals, and alternative takes. Instrumental versions, that's actually very interesting. $60 again is the list price for each of these, and each of them on double LP black vinyl from Black Sabbath. Up next is a very interesting pair of reissues from Lizzy, Borden, and it is the album Appointment with Death. And we're getting two different vinyl variations of this, one on red vinyl and one on gold vinyl. And listen up, because this is very interesting, as I said. Appointment with Death returns, this time pressed on hauntingly bloody red tears vinyl or gold vinyl, capturing Lizzy Borden's dramatic theatrical power. Officially licensed from Metal Blade Records and mastered for vinyl by Rob Caldwell, this is Lizzy Borden's 2007 concept metal epic album at its boldest and bloodiest. Now, the description says that this was originally released on vinyl only once in 2012, and that had a limited run of just 250 copies. I've not looked for that on Discogs, but I can't imagine it's going to be up there. So now this reissue is being strictly limited to 300 copies of each color, so they're not going to give us much more on that. This could prove a difficult get if you're really looking for it. So the red vinyl version of Lizzy Borden Appointment with Death, again, according to our description, limited to just 300 copies worldwide. $38 is the suggested list price on that. The gold vinyl, the exact same thing, saying that they're being strictly limited to just 300 copies of this as well. And for some reason, this one comes in at a suggested list price of $40, a couple of bucks more than the red vinyl version. It doesn't say it is an indie exclusive, just a different vinyl version of Appointment with Death from Lizzy Borden. Again, gold or red, it says they're both very strictly limited. We'll see how that goes. Here's a picture disc reissue from the Marshall Tucker Band. It's Searching for a Rainbow, and the description said originally released in 1975, Marshall Tucker Band's Searching for a Rainbow encapsulates the soul of Southern rock with a mix of country, blues, and folk influences that define the band's signature sound. This was their fourth studio album, by the way, and it delivered the group's first top 40 single, Fire on the Mountain. So now, in celebration of its 50th anniversary, this album is being released on a picture disc featuring the iconic artwork. Searching for a Rainbow from the Marshall Tucker Band on picture disc, this one coming in at $36, suggested list price. Up next is a couple of versions of Amorica from the Black Crowes, a reissue here. 180-gram pressing, this reissue has been overseen by the band's founders and brothers, Chris and Rich Robinson. The description says that the album also includes 3 Amorica-era, say that 5 times fast, Amorica-era bonus tracks on here as well. So the double LP, although I think it says triple LP in the description, I think there is a bit of a discrepancy here. We'll go with double LP, but Amorica from the Black Crowes, $33, suggested list price. And then, just because there is an expanded version of this, a deluxe edition. This is a limited 5 LP set, which includes a sticker and a poster. Same thing with that remix version that we talked about with the previous version. And oddly enough, the description doesn't go too much beyond saying what else is included on those other pieces that come onto this. So it's a deluxe edition. Says 5 discs included. And quite frankly, I don't even have some good images to back us up on this. They're really not giving me much to go with here. So we'll just tell you that the expanded deluxe edition of Amorica comes in at a suggested list price of $200. Sorry for the lack of information on that. They're just not giving me that stuff in our descriptions. On this notion of expanded editions with an anniversary, we've got a couple more, starting off with Mötley Crüe and Theater of Pain. This is an anniversary edition, as mentioned. Originally released in 1985, Mötley Crüe's third studio album ushered in a bold new sound and look while still maintaining the band's signature hard rock intensity. That is according to our description. So the first of these, the 40th anniversary edition on standard black vinyl, newly remastered and with updated artwork, comes in at a suggested retail price of $27. And then there is an indie exclusive version coming on something being called Purple Crush vinyl. Still that remastered, still that single LP on this one, but the list price for that indie exclusive colored vinyl version coming in at $28. And then finally, and again, just because they're celebrating that 40th anniversary, there is an expanded box set edition, deluxe edition on colored vinyl as well. This version of Theater of Pain is a deluxe 4 LP box set pressed on multicolor splatter vinyl, but it also includes a hardcover book. The first LP is the original album, a 2025 remaster. The second and third records in this are live from Long Beach, and the fourth record inside is demos and sessions and other mixes. Again, limited edition. The box set of Theater of Pain, the 40th anniversary from Mötley Crüe, coming in at a suggested list price of $150. And then one more multi-version reissue to tell you about, which goes all the way up to the big box set. This is the Rolling Stones and their Black and Blue album. This was originally released in 1976, and now in 2025, it's got a brand new remix done by the one and only Steven Wilson. He's got his fingers in just about everything on here. So first up, we have a single record reissue of this, 180-gram black vinyl, coming in at a suggested list price of $30. And then there is an expanded edition. They're calling this the deluxe edition, double LP on black vinyl of Black and Blue. They're really kind of missing out. They should have done one black and one blue. This double LP version features the Steven Wilson mix on the first, and the second is a 6-track disc of previously unreleased outtakes and jams. Interesting. And they're not done there. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. That one comes in at a suggested list price of $38. And then, as I was saying, they're not quite done there. There is a larger super deluxe box set of Black and Blue from the Rolling Stones. This has got everything that the first two have, the Steven Wilson remix and the extra stuff of mixes and alternate takes. But this collection includes a total of 5 LPs on 180-gram black vinyl, featuring that new Steven Wilson mix we mentioned, the unreleased outtakes, and a live recording from their 1976 Earl's Court show. It also has a Blu-ray disc with previously unreleased live television recordings from Paris, and a Dolby Atmos mixes on that as well. Also included is a 100-page hardcover book with a new essay by Stones expert Paul Sexton and a new interview with Ronnie Wood, plus a Paris show poster. Lots of stuff in this deluxe, super deluxe edition of the Black and Blue box set from the Rolling Stones. This one, though, coming in at a big suggested list price of $230. And finally today, we have got a reissue of one of the Blue Note Tone Poet series editions coming from Capitol Records, In the Wee Small Hours from Frank Sinatra. The description says that this is Frank Sinatra's seminal 1955 album, and this melancholy masterpiece of lost love and heartbreak, featuring the legendary vocalist's sublime renditions of great American songbook standards, arranged by Nelson Riddle. This is a mono Blue Note Tone Poet vinyl edition produced by Joe Harley, mastered by Kevin Gray from the original analog master tapes, and pressed on 180-gram black vinyl at RTA. Packaged all together in a deluxe gatefold tip-on jacket featuring session photos by William Claxton and Ken Veeder. So this reissue from the Blue Note Tone Poet series, In the Wee Small Hours from Frank Sinatra, coming in at a suggested list price of $39. And that'll do it for this week's check into the new releases headed toward an independent record store near you. If you're local and you see something you'd like us to get a hold of, just contact us here at the store and we'll take care of that pre-order for you. But if you'd also like to see that full list, all you have to do is head over to our website at radiowasteland.com, look for the upcoming releases link, click on that, and you'll see the full list on a PDF of everything there is to see coming out for the 14th of November. Same thing goes with that larger list. If you see something on there you'd like us to get a hold of, just let us know and we will do that. So until next time, this is Jim from Radio Wasteland. Please do not forget to hit that like button, comment, share, do all the stuff that YouTube likes you to do to help a channel out, would you, buddy? And we'll talk to you next week from Radio Wasteland. Thanks again, everyone.